love blush. I love blush so much. I think it might be my favorite step in my makeup routine in a way. It's not as creative as eyeshadow, but I think that if I could only wear one makeup product on my face for the rest of my life, it would definitely be blush. So that is something you can see from this collection. You are not seeing all my blushes just yet. I have been kind of putting off this video, filming this video a little bit, because there's a lot. There's a lot here. And I want to do swatches as well, but it's gonna be a long one. So yeah, I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna do this by brand, I think. Okay, I think these are all my blushes from Catrice. And I do have a lot of blushes from them. Catrice is just one of my standard brands on my channel, one of the brands that I always review and that I do buy quite a lot from when it comes to their collections, their limited editions. So that is what you're seeing here. I do also have a bunch of products still that I'm still reviewing, that I'm ready to update you on, or that are even unused yet, that I put in separate baskets, which I will talk about at the end of the video. Okay, let's start with the Cheek Flirt Face Stick. This is in the shade Rock and Rose 030, and this formula I actually really like. It's a really nice peachy pink, kind of like a glowy creamy blush. The thing with this is that the packaging is not amazing. We have a crack here. This is feeling very loose, but the actual formula of this I really enjoy. I feel like it looks really great on the skin. It's very blendable, so I am keeping it for now, but I don't love this packaging. I do not know if that is still available. Then we have the new form of cheek stick that they came out with. This is the blush lighter stick, the Blush and Charm multi-stick, and I have it in shade Sparkle Lover 040. I personally didn't love this one. I felt like it was a little bit too thin and a little bit like subtle, not pigmented enough. It felt kind of like hard in the packaging. It was a little bit of a strange formula to me. I wouldn't say that this is a worst of the year contender, but I personally didn't love this one, so I'm gonna declutter this one. Then I have here one of my favorite blushes in my collection. This is the Catrice Cheek Lover Marbled Blush, and this is in the shade 010 Dahlia Blossom. This is quite a pigmented, kind of like strawberry pink, sort of glowy blush. I think it's really pretty. I have used it a bunch. I love big blushes, so definitely keeping that one. Then I have here the Air Matte Blush, Air Blush Matte, I must say. And this is the one in Pink Lemonade 140 that they quite recently came out with. It's kind of like a soft baby pink. I quite like this formula. It's quite nice and blurring. I like the shade of this one. I think it's really cute. So I am gonna keep that one. Then this one, I don't know if they still have this in their collection. This is the Cheek Lover Oil Infused Blush in 010 Blooming Hibiscus. This one they came out with quite a while ago, and this is kind of like a corally to a gold shade. Very beautiful and smooth on the skin. If you love a glowy blush, this is really nice. I have used this a lot. I know it doesn't look like it, but this was definitely for a while one of my favorite go-to blushes in my collection. I'm going to be keeping that one. Then I have here two blush sticks from the Kiss and Glow collection that they did for Valentine's Day, and I told you that I didn't really love these, and I don't. I feel like the packaging is clunky, a little awkward. I feel like the shades, this is shade C01 Cheeky Flirt. These shades were okay, but I didn't feel like they looked very smooth on the skin. They weren't my favorite formula. I felt like they looked a little bit uneven. I don't think these are contenders for like the worst of the year. I do have to say that, but I didn't enjoy these. So I'm gonna be decluttering both of these. So this one was the shade CO2 Amour's Fave. This one was a more kind of like berry red shade. And I don't know, I can already see like the way it sits on the lines on my hand. It just doesn't look very smooth. Okay, let's talk about these blushes from the Mystic Forest collection. I did really enjoy these. These are cream blushes. I don't think these are really still available. I think my friend found this one recently on Amazon, but I didn't see it anywhere else. So this is the Mystic Forest cream blush CO1 Purple Touch, which is a berry purple shade. It's quite pigmented and it has kind of like a matte effect for a cream blush, and these are really beautiful. They are interesting shades, a little out there, a little scary for me, but I am going to be keeping them because they are really nice and they are kind of like more special in my collection. I'm just someone, I love a pink blush, and this is a little bit more like different for me, which I sometimes like to keep. Then I have a bunch of these blush affair duos that Catrice came out with, I think last year. I have here shade Peach Passion, which I think kind of looks more like a rosy shade, kind of like a warmer rose. It's quite a muted peach, if you would call that a peach. I feel like it pulls quite pink on me. And then we have the shade Pleasing Pink, which is a more cool tone, kind of like Barbie pink. And these palettes, these two darker palettes, are quite like bright and pigmented. Just look at that. Those are a lot on my skin tone. And then we have the one in Stunning Strawberry. And this one is a little bit more of a warm pink. So that's the difference between Stunning Strawberry and what was the other one called? Pleasing Pink. So those are also quite similar for a range that only has 4 shades. I feel like for me, I can get rid of the Pleasing Pink because I would see myself using the strawberry one before I reach for this one, and they are too similar, I think, to keep them both. I've done content with all of these. It is up on my channel if you want to see more. I'm gonna keep both of these. Then these blushes, these liquid blushes, are the Blush Affair liquid blush, and I did quite enjoy these when these first came out. Since then, I haven't really reached for them, and I did apply one of these a little while ago, like maybe a month ago, to see how I really feel about this formula, to see if I should keep these in my life, because I feel like there are some other formulas that have come out in the drugstore, and also there are some other formulas that exist from Catrice that I like more, that I feel like if I would do a full face of Catrice or if I would do like drugstore favorites, I wouldn't really talk about these. So let me just show you which shades I have. This is 030 Ready Red Go, which is a muted red. Then we have the shade Pink Feelings 010, which is a light baby pink. Whoa, okay, I have to shake that. That is just, only oil came out. Okay, let me fix that. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, now we get some color, but that one wasn't mixed well. It does say shake well, but for swatches, I sometimes ignore that. And then we have a Velvet Rose 040, which is more of a brownish rose shade. Quite brown, actually. It's not that rose. Like, it has a bit of a rosy undertone to it. Definitely. Okay, so those are the shades. I think I like the red the most here. It's kind of like this strawberry red, a little bit softer. So that is something that I do like when it comes to my reds in blushes. So I think I'm going to keep the red one. But am I going to keep these two? I think I don't have to. I think I have browns like this and I have a lot of pinks like this, and as I said, it's not my go-to formula anymore, and then at least I have one shade to reference the formula, so those are gonna go. And then I have here the blush drops from the Christmas collection or the holiday collection that Catrice came out with. There are 3 different shades in this range, but I kept 2 initially. So these are the blush drops in Merry Mauve, and then we have Chestnuts Roasting. I do like this formula. It's a really liquidy serum-like formula that gives a really nice glow on the cheeks. I didn't feel like these were too stain-like, because that is something that I don't like when cheeks are looking too much like a stain. So that is a really nice cool tone color, and I did really like Chestnuts Roasting in my video when I reviewed these. It is a little bit of an out there shade for me. It's quite like a warm red, almost a little bit like a terracotta red, but I do really like these. I do want to keep them for now. I'm pretty sure these are all my Essence blushes, and as you can see, I have a lot of pink blushes in Essence. I do really enjoy the formulas that they do. I feel like they are pretty good at doing blushes that are nice and smooth and have a nice amount of pigmentation. I do really enjoy them. If I see them doing a blush in their limited editions, I do get pretty excited. And I also try a lot of their regular range blushes. Okay, let's start out with the Essence Lip Life and Coral Blush Lighter Stick that they came out with last year in a summer collection. And this is just a very glowy pink, very kind of like shimmery, glittery, glowy. Really like it as a mix-in. It's not really a blush on its own on me. I feel like it's a little too pigmented for that. I do want a truly pigmented blush, like not too much. I do have like fairly light skin, but this is a little too light, but I am gonna keep that one. I do really like that one. This is one of my absolute favorite blushes in my collection. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is the Essence in a Bloom Light blush lighter, and this is just so beautiful. It is smooth. We have kind of like different colors. I love the packaging on this one, and it's just so nice and glowy. I do use it on its own, but I also use it to top over things. If something isn't looking like exactly smooth enough, then I definitely go into that one. I love that one so much. Then we have the Essence It's Bubblegum Fun Bouncy Blush, and this is kind of like a putty blush in a very bright pink color. I do really like this one. I think it's really nice and blurring on the skin. I think it's really cute, so I'm keeping that one. This Hello Kitty blush lighter actually was a pleasant surprise. It's such a nice color. Like, we have two colors, I just mix them together. I think it's too difficult to get one or the other. It's kind of like a pink to gold duochrome blush lighter. It's really cute, really smooth. I don't like the bulky packaging, but the rest of it, just the way this looks on the skin, is really nice, so I'm keeping that one. Then I have here the Pure Nude Baked Blush, and this is in the shade Shimmery Rose, and this is a really nice light pink, baby pink baked blush that looks really smooth on the skin. I haven't tried any of the other shades. I kind of feel like those would maybe be a little bit more blushy. Like, this is very light, but yeah, definitely gonna keep that one. It's also a product that I feel like is still talked about quite a bit. Okay, let's see. We have the Essence Lava the Chocolate Blush Mousse, and this is in Chocoholic Dream. Really love this one. It's such a nice rosy shade. It's such a beautiful creamy blush formula. It's a little bit on the warmer side for a pink, but I definitely feel like this pulls nice and pinky on my cheeks. I really like how smooth this looks. Then we have these two blush lighters from the Up collection that they did, I think, in the fall last year. We have the pink one, and these are super glowy. These are so glowy and metallic. Like, these are something. These are like a little crazy on their own, but you can use them a little bit more sparingly. You can mix them in with things, but this makes your cheeks look very glowy. So this is kind of like a warmer pink. And then we also have the shade Sunset Serenade, and which is more of a warm corally shade. This I bought after filming my video, thinking, wow, that is so glossy and glowy and smooth. I need that in my life, but this definitely isn't my type of shade. Like, this is quite warm and kind of like orangey, and I do have some warmer blushes in my collection, but I don't think I'm gonna reach for this one. I think I can let go of this shade, and then I'm gonna keep the pink one, because I just think I would always go for that pink one. So if that's so clear, I could just keep that one. Then we have this Baby Got Blush, a liquid blush in the shade Pinkalicious, and this is just a light baby pink. A little bit brighter, by the way, than some baby pinks that I have. I don't love the sponge tip applicator of this, but I do think this is a pretty cute blush. I do want to keep this for reference for the formula, because I review Essence so much. And then we have this blush lighter from the So Mesmerizing collection, the Blush Stick. And this was a kind of like toned down red blush that has a little bit of a shimmer in it, which is really cute. I really like this one. Well, it's more of a reddish pink actually. It looks more red when you look at it in the bullet, but then when you apply it, it's a little bit more on the pinky side. I do really like this one. I'm gonna keep that one. Then I have these two Baby Got Blush Lip and Cheek Sticks. I got it in the shade 40 Sweets and Roses, which is a really nice kind of like warmer rose shade. I do really like this formula. It's nice and creamy. It's nice and blendable. You can build it up. This is quite a nice color. I'm gonna keep that one. But then we also have this purple one, and this is the shade Cherry Cherry Baby. And this one I think is such a cool color. I really love the color of this one, but it's quite dark for me. Like, this is a little bit too dark for me. I think I can pass it along to someone who would actually suit this really well. So I'm gonna be getting rid of that one. Then I have here the Blush Crush shades that I own. Like, this is a full range, but I do have 4 shades here. So this is the shade Lovely Lilac, and I do love a purpley blush. It is just what I'm into. I think that it suits me really well, and also really like this formula. This is a really nice, smooth, buildable formula, and this is the one in Strawberry Flush, and this one has a little bit of a glow to it. So it's kind of like a strawberry reddish pink with a golden shimmer to it. I think is really cute. Then we have the shade Caramel Latte, which is for me a little bit more of a bronzer type shade. You can also use it as a bronzer. I think it is a little bit on the warmer side, but I could definitely see myself using that again, also because this is a very nice kind of like a glowy product. And then we have shade Pink Pop, which I kind of forgot I had. I believe this one also has a little bit of a glow to it. Yeah, so only the Lovely Lilac one is matte. These two have a little bit of glow to it. And then Strawberry Crush has actually some golden shimmer to it. I'm gonna keep all of these because I do really like this formula. And then lastly from Essence, I have the Xmas Kisses Blush and Highlighter Duo. I thought this was pretty cute. The shimmery part is quite shimmery on the cheeks, and this blush is quite a warm, like brownish pink. I think this is a pretty cute product. The packaging is quite nice. It's cute, but I don't think that I need to keep it. So I'm gonna declutter this one. These are all the blushes I own from Huda Beauty. I also have one more that is still in my to review basket. I have here the Ube Cream, which she came out with in her Ube collection. I do really like this one. It's a nice purpley shade. And then we also have Strawberry Cream. And by the way, these smell really strongly. I can already smell it. And this is kind of like a muted, warmish strawberry pink, which I love. I love these types of shades. And then I have here Cotton Candy, which is a light baby pink. I love this one so much. Like, this is so pretty. I love these colors. This is kind of like me in blushes. Muted reds, purpley pinks, and baby pinks. That's what I love. So keeping all of these. Like, that is a formula that is so nice and buildable, kind of glowy, not sticky. I just think it looks amazing on the cheeks. Then I have some Juvia's Place. Yeah, I have 3 of these. The shimmery, glowy blush lighters. I do really like these, but I gotta be a little bit careful with these because they do have a tendency to become a little bit too thick on the skin because they are so pigmented. So I'm a little like careful with these, but they are really beautiful if you just use a little bit of this. So this is Blush Lily Glow, which is a very nice and cool tone pink. Then we have Rosy Posy Glow, which is a pink to gold kind of like duochrome, and these are definitely blush lighters. Like, these are very glowy. I hope you can kind of see. And then we have Soft Tulip Glow, which I believe was even more warm toned. Like, this is almost an orange to a golden glow. I do really love this formula. I think I'm gonna keep all 3 of these, even though this is a little bit warm for me. I do want to keep these also because I have not that many blushes from Juvia's Place. I don't have that much makeup from Juvia's Place. Like, if I have a lot of makeup from one brand, I might be a little bit more strict with my choices. Okay, I have a bunch of blushes from Flower Nose. I did get a few of these in PR. Not all of these I bought myself, but I'm not sure exactly which is which, like which I bought and which I got. So this is the cream blush from Flower Nose in Rose Ashes. And this cream blush is just very light. It's just very light on my skin. It's quite a nice formula, but it's not something that dries down completely. And by the way, my hand is a little bit more tan than my face, so it doesn't fully accurately show how it will look on my like face, but this is very light. This is very light. And then we have this powder blush in Berry May, which is actually quite a nice color. Like, this is a color that I would definitely use. The thing with these Flower Nose blushes is that they are very matte, very matte. Like, these are mattifying, and I have dry skin, so sometimes I'm just like, that's not the look I'm going for today. Like, if you combine this with a highlighter, there's a stark difference between the part where you put the highlighter and the part where you put the blush. So this was shade 05 from the Midsummer Fairy Tales collection. So this one I thought I could use maybe as a bronzer. And then I think this is the last one. I think I'm missing something. Where are my Flower Nose blushes? This is Summer Blossom from the Midsummer Fairy Tales collection. This is more of a peach shade. I have some from the Strawberry Rococo Violet collection or something like that. I do own those and I don't know where they went now. I might have put those in a different place because I just thought, okay, I have too many Flower Nose blushes to put them all like right where I can grab them in my drawer, because I'm not gonna be doing that. So I did put some to the side, and I think I did that with the Strawberry Rococo Violets as well. They are somewhere in this room. I don't really want to get rid of any of these, but these I think I'm gonna keep separately because I don't have space for all these Flower Nose blushes, but I also don't want to get rid of them for now. Okay, let's do some Maybelline and L'Oreal. This is a Sunkisser blush in the shade Blazing Blush 05. This is from the Glowy line. This is such a light pink. This is basically a highlighter actually. I think I should just put this with the highlighters because that is just very light even on my skin tone, but I do want to keep this one. I do think that is a pretty cute shade. Then we also have the Sunkisser matte blushes, and I got a bunch of these. I have 3 of these for a video trying these out and doing some cheek swatches. So this is Spritzy Orange, and I do quite like this formula, and I feel like this shade even blends out to something quite nice and natural on the skin, but I don't love this formula enough to keep all of these. So I'm gonna get rid of Spritzy Orange. Then I have this one. This is a Lilac Clouds, and you know I love a lilac-y blush, so I'm gonna be keeping this one. It's just a very nice purplish color. And then I also have here the shade Pink Mirage. This is a very warm pink. Look at that. It's just, is this even pink? It looks like the brightest coral of my life. I'm gonna get rid of this one as well. It's just, I don't love this formula enough to keep all of these. Then I have here the L'Oreal Le Blush in shade 90 Luminous Rose, and this is a rosy blush, powder blush that has a kind of like silvery shimmer in it, which I did think looked quite nice on the cheeks. Like, it's a little chunky on the swatch, but it looks quite nice on the cheeks, but I don't think I would really reach for this again over all of the other blushes that I own, so I'm gonna get rid of that one. It seems I don't have that many Makeup Revolution blushes. I have 2 of the blush sticks, and then I have this powder blush that they had in their, what was it, Mood Switch collection or something like that. So this is the shade Neo Pink, and you can tell this is supposed to be a dupe of the Dior blush, but actually this is a really nice blush. It's very nice and blurry. It's a nice cool tone pink shade that I don't feel has too much of a wide base, because sometimes they do. Sometimes I don't like that, so I'm gonna be keeping that one. And then I have here 2 of the blush sticks. This is Pinched Light Pink, and this is a nice and creamy formula, buildable. I like the amount of pigmentation. This is a cute shade of pink. And then we also have Rosy Cheeks, which is a little bit more like a dark and warm tone. Like, look at that. That is a warm rose, definitely. Next to that, it looks very warm. These are pretty new in my collection. I'm definitely gonna keep these for now. I have a few blushes from Kaleidos. I really love this formula. This is such a good formula. And these Mona blushes from the collection, where everybody said like, these don't show up on my skin, what is going on here? These are some of my favorite blushes in my entire collection. Definitely top 3. I use these all the time. So this one is Pearl Bliss. This one is just kind of like a bronzer for people with cool undertones. Like, I'm neutral to cool, and this is just so nice. I love this kind of like rosy brown. 100% keeping that. And then this one, Pale Rose, is just one of my favorite light pink blushes in my collection. I can just feel the dip in there. So that is that shade. It looks really light, yes, but I feel like there's something to this formula that, at least with my skin tone, it builds up to something very nice. And then this doesn't have the name on it, so I don't know exactly what this is, but this is the very bright cool tone pink from one collection before that. And this is kind of like the same thing almost as this Makeup Revolution one, but this one has a little bit more of a wide base, but I do like this color on myself, so I'm gonna be keeping that one. So if you're new here, you might not know. I love Kiko Milano and I love Kiko Milano blushes. Hi, I'm Marlie and I love Kiko Milano and I review a lot of their collections. As you can see, I also keep a lot of the blushes because I just love the formulas. I feel like I'm missing something here. Like, where did one of these go? Oh, it's underneath here. Okay, almost got a heart attack. Okay. Where do we start? I have here one of the blushes from the Charming Escape collection. And this is a Silky Blush in 03 Rose Garden. I think this is such a beautiful blush formula. And as long as this survives, I'm going to keep this in my collection. Super nice and blurry. A light glow to it. Absolutely gorgeous formula. Then I have here the Street Heart Cheeky Flush Blush. And this is in the shade 01 Pop Flamingo. This is just very pigmented and a little bit too pigmented for me. I didn't really love this blush. It's just not something that I can see myself reaching for again, so I'm gonna actually declutter this one. Okay, I cleaned my hand off a little bit so that we have some space for swatches again. So this is the Kiko Milano Happy Birthday Bellezza Big Blush in 03 on Movement. I really like this. It's nice and glowy. It's a baked formula. It doesn't have a crazy amount of pigment, but it's just a really beautiful formula. This was a collection where they brought back favorites from limited editions of the past years and I loved it. Then we have this Kiko Milano Create Your Balance Contour Boost Powder Blush in 02 Tireless Pink, and I love this one so much. I feel like this has kind of like that cool tone pink effect without it having that white base. It just has a really nice almost softness to it. I really like just the blurring effect of this blush. This is one of my favorites in my collection. Then we have the Kiko Milano Holiday Wanderlust Radiant Flush Blush in 01 Rose Pudding. So this is a blush that had an overspray, and because of that overspray, the top layer is very glittery, and then underneath that we have kind of like this rosy just satin blush. I do like the look of the blush underneath, but I'm kind of mad that they put an overspray, but I think I'm gonna keep this for now because I do really like this swatch of what is underneath the glitter. Getting everything in frame a little bit again. Then we have the Kiko Milano Gold Reflections Baked Blushes, and if you've seen my Juicy Face collection review of the new Kiko Milano Summer collection, you know that they brought these back. So we have here shade Sunkissed Coral, and so this is very similar to one of the blushes that they brought back for this year. Like, that is such a beautiful glowy blush. And then we have shade Radiant Biscuit. This is also a shade that they brought back. The shade 01 in the new collection is the same, basically the same, if not the exact same as this blush. And then this one they didn't bring back, and this I think might even be my favorite. This is Luminous Mauve. This one is a little bit more cool tone. The other one are a little bit more warm tone. Like, this is such a nice cool toned light pink. It almost has a little bit of purpleness to it. I'm gonna keep these, but I basically bought 2 of these again, so we'll see in the next declutter if I'm gonna be keeping all of those blushes, even though I love them if they're the same thing. Maybe I'll just like choose which packaging I like the most. We'll see. But for now, it's a little bit too early to be getting rid of any of them. Okay, next up I have here the Velvet Touch Creamy Blush Stick, and I have 2 shades. I have here 06, which is once again that kind of like muted strawberry red pink shade, which I am gonna keep. Really love that color. These are really nice skin-like buildable cheek sticks. So this is 07, which is a lighter nudie pink. Quite nude for me and my liking. I usually am not really into nude blushes. I am gonna keep this one though because I do want to have that variation. Then I have here the Powerful Love Ruby Cheek Duo Creamy Blush, and I think I'm gonna get rid of one of the ones that I have. I know, it's a shocker. I do love these, but one of these just has shades that I just don't think are for me. So this is the one in Lovebirds, and I think this one is just too nude for me. I did apply it again, I think last month, and I just didn't love it. I just thought it was too warm toned and too brown and too muted for me. So I actually think, because I have truly tried to make this work again, that it is time to get rid of this one, to let go of this one. I know, I'm shocked as well. Like, I didn't really see this coming. I thought I really loved this until I used it again on my cheeks. And I just thought, no, this is not my shade. Then I have this one. And this one I do really love. This is the one... Wait, this is the one I'm talking about. The one in Romeo and Juliet. And this one has kind of like more muted red shade, kind of like that strawberry pinky shade, and then this muted red. And I really like these. Like, these are so beautiful. I would definitely reach for these over those other ones, so I'm gonna be keeping this one. And then I have this one as well. In that year, in that collection, they also did a powder duo that had a blush and a highlighter. So this is not two blushes, and this is in Falling in Mauve, and I do really like this one. This one has a kind of like mauve-y blush, powder blush, which still has enough of a pink undertone for me, and then a really beautiful champagne creamy highlighter. So I'm gonna keep that one for sure. So I still have two blush duos from that collection, but I think that's enough for me. Then I have these Gloss Supreme Layering Matte and Glow Blush Duet in 01 Sandy Chic Cheeks, which has a glowy, very glowy, glossy blush, and then kind of like a bronzer, powder bronzer in this duo. And this blush doesn't dry down, but it is really beautiful. Like, it remains a little bit like creamy on the cheeks, and then this bronzer is a little bit more on the peachy side. I do think there's something about this formula. That's also why I bought another one, and I'm gonna be keeping these. Like, this is quite special in my collection, and also quite special for Kiko Milano and their formulas. So this is the one in Your Mauve Jesty, and this is shade 03, and this one has kind of like a powder cool tone pink, muted cool tone pink, and then we have the glowy part, which is more of that bronzer shade. So that one is kind of like the other way around, but this one is a little bit more of a cool tone duo. I'm gonna keep this. I don't know if these are still available. Then we have this one. This is from the Mood Boost collection. This is the 3-in-1 all over stick, and I don't even know. Like, this is pretty old. This is pretty old. This is another one of those strawberry pinky shades, but this is just such a nice creamy formula. It's so beautiful. I have to use it again. Like, I loved the phase of Kiko Milano where they came out with like stick blushes in their collections, but now they are more into those squeezy tube Poof Style applicator Charlotte Tilbury dupes. So this was a great time for Kiko Milano. I really enjoyed this one. And then we have this baked blush. This is from one of their summer collections. So this is the Lost in Amalfi baked blush in Silky Sand. This definitely isn't available anymore, and this is just a peach nude. I need some space to show you. A peach nude baked blush, and I just feel like this pulls quite beautifully peachy on me. Like, it's not as nude as you would think, and because of that, I'm gonna keep this one. I do really like it. It smells really strongly of florals, but it's really beautiful. And then I have a bunch of blushes from the Days in Bloom collection. This was a spring collection that they did for 2024. Love the outer box packaging. That's why it's still on. Like, the packaging underneath is not as interesting. So I have here a Luminous Cushion Blush in 03 Elegant Pink, and this is a really warm pink. Just very peachy pink. Like, that is warm. That's a warm tone. I am definitely gonna keep that one. I do really enjoy the formula. It's nice and glowy. It's not pigmented. It is a bit on the metallic side, but I do love it. I do love a glow blush. And this was shade 02 Peach Flowers, and this is just a very kind of like bronzy shade. Well, that is a great place to swatch, but this one is also really beautiful. So so that is those two. I'm gonna keep these. I don't think these are still available. I feel like maybe the shades that they have in the summer collection now, or maybe even the shades that they have in the regular range now of this Poof Style applicator highlighters might be dupes of these. Alright, and then we have the Days in Bloom 3-in-1 Silky All Over, and I have two shades. I have Rose Dreams and Creative Peach. These are really beautiful. Very nice liquid blushes that are just buildable. They have a nice amount of glow to them. They are not sticky. These are just absolutely gorgeous. I love the shade Rose Dreams. Absolutely a favorite of mine. I love it so much. And then we have Creative Peach, which is a shade that I have had my doubts about a little bit, also in my last declutter, because it's a very light milky peach, but it's a really interesting shade that I don't feel like I really have in my collection. I don't really love these on the lips. I do really love these as a liquid blush. I think I'm gonna keep both of these. Then I have these blush duos from the Sweet Affairs collection. These are also a little bit older in my collection, but I definitely still am gonna keep them. So this is a duo cacao blush in Ruby Cacao, and this one I love so much. This one has a very subtle kind of like satiny powder blush. Like this doesn't do much, but then this is so beautiful, and together these are the most magical blush duo. Just such a nice like soft pink glow, baked glow. It's gorgeous, so definitely gonna keep that. I feel like it's also a pretty nostalgic product for me, so I definitely don't want to get rid of this. And then we also have this one. This is Sweet Biscuit, and this one has more nude shades. And this blush, the satiny blush, is definitely, it's not really a blush for me. I think this is more of a like bronzer for me, but honestly I don't really go into that. I love this shade though. Like this is such an interesting kind of like blush topper highlighter shade. It's kind of like this muted peachy champagne, and it just looks amazing on the skin. This is just a really smooth baked formula, so yeah, I'm gonna keep both of these. Okay, I have two blushes from Singe Beauty, the Evocative Silk Blush, and I have shades Timid Tomato and Riveting Rhubarb. These have an interesting type of glow to them. They have a nice amount of pigmentation, but the glow, I don't really know how I feel about it. It's just a little bit almost of an icy glow, which is interesting. I don't know, there was just something about it where I couldn't really put my finger on it, what I really thought about it. This is a really nice shade of pink though, so I'm definitely gonna keep Riveting Rhubarb. But I have to say the shade Timid Tomato to me was more of a terracotta than a tomato shade. Like, okay, there's some red in there, but for me, for someone with my undertone, this pulls just basically brown and not really red. It's just too warm, it's just too brown. It's not the type of red that I like, so I think I can actually let go of this one. I don't think I'm gonna use it again. Then I have all of the Cheek Tear blushes from What's Up Beauty. They sent me 3 of the shades. One of them I had bought, and this formula I do really like. It's kind of like a soft, diffused. So this is Gentle Genova. Let me just open all of these up before I start truly getting into this. So this is a Gentle Genova 40, this is a Relaxed Roma 30, this is Serene Sienna 20, and this is Peaceful Pisa, and this is shade 10. I think I'm not gonna get rid of any of this right now because I just feel like I do really love this formula. They are newer in my collection. So this is 10, this is 30, which is quite a nice kind of like mauve shade. Then this is 20, which is a little bit more of a neutral pink. And then this is 30, and this one is a little bit more of almost a terracotta shade, but none of these are like super warm toned or super outspoken. So yeah, gonna keep all of those. Then I have some blushes from Romande, and I bought these thinking that these would pull a little bit more pigmentedly on the face than they actually turned out to be. So here we have the shade B02 from the Enip Square collection, and this is a really kind of like muted grayish pink, very muted, very white based. And then this one is NO2 from the regular range, and this is also a very muted, very white based, kind of like more bright shade. And then we have the shade CO2 from the regular range, which is a little bit more of a almost like milky strawberry pink. I think it is time to be honest with myself. There's nothing inherently wrong with this cheek formula, but I have lighter blushes in my collection that are just a little bit more substantial, that are just a little bit more pigmented, and I don't really see myself reaching for these. They are just too light for me to use as a blush, and I bought these because I saw a video of someone really building these up and being like, okay, might look light, but look at how it builds up. I don't like feel like that's happening with these colors at least. And I kept these the last time because I thought, okay, it's nice to kind of like blend out a deeper blush with a lighter blush, but I have lighter blushes that are a little bit more versatile. So I'm gonna get rid of all of these. Like, this wasn't something I think I was really supposed to get into for my makeup style. Like, I get it for a certain makeup style that I don't have. I love a lot of blush. I love visible blush. Alright, I have this Hourglass blush, and this is in the shade Sublime Flush. I love the idea of this, kind of like this warmish, neutralish pink with a lilac-y glow. Do I ever use it? No. Do I ever declutter it? Also no. I'm still gonna keep it. And the only reason for that is that I just find it difficult to get rid of it. I don't really have a reason for keeping this. I just think that I might still get into that. I don't know why. I just think so. So this is the Luminous Silk Cheek Tint by Giorgio Armani. And this was just the cheek tint that everybody was raving about at some point last year. And you know, it is pretty. It's quite nice. It's that typical cool tone pinky shade. I'm gonna keep it for now. See if I use it again. But I think I can get rid of this one. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Blurring Serum Blush. And this is in the shade Baby Pink. I just thought that this didn't really show up on me. There was just something about this color. Like, there's nothing really wrong with this formula, but just something about this color. It's just too light. And it just doesn't, well, this is not a great swatch, but this just doesn't do much for me. I think if I had another shade, it would do more. Also, the packaging is just nothing special. So I think I can let go of that one. Then I have this Moira Love Heat Cream Blush in 19, I Assure You. And I don't think I even touched this blush. I'm gonna touch it now. I'm just gonna, like, I tried this formula before, so it's not really like a new makeup updates type of blush, but it's a really light kind of like milky peachy pink. Now that I touched it, maybe I will actually use it, because sometimes I just don't get into a product just because I haven't gotten into it yet. But then once I actually like touch it and break it in, then it actually feels like an option. It's kind of strange. Then I have the Nimya Cream Blushes. And these, I recently tried again in a video and I really enjoyed it. So I have here the shade Hey Carl. And I don't think, no, I am not able to swatch these with my long nails. This is the shade Picture Perfect Peach. And then this is the shade Pink Ranger. I do really like all of these shades. Let me grab something that I can swatch with. Okay, so Hey Carl is a corally shade that actually looks quite natural on the cheeks. Like, it looks really bright in a swatch, but it looks quite nice and rosy on the cheeks. Then we have Picture Perfect Peach, and this is quite a warm toned, well, that's not a great swatch. That is quite a warm toned, bright peach, a little bit on the lighter milky side. And then we have Pink Ranger, which is very bright and cool tone pink. And I do like that this has a bit less of a white base, although it's not too far off actually from the Giorgio Armani one. I'm gonna keep all of these because I do really like the formula, and it did reignite my love for them with my video where I tried all their favorites again. I just really enjoyed the way these blend, the way these look. They do have a really nice blurring effect to them. I have some liquid blushes from Lunar Beauty. Do I have 2 or 3? I believe I have 3 of these. Where is the other one? I'm so confused. Alright, found it. I put it in a place where I just checked if there were any more blushes there. So this is Preciosa Pink, which is a cool tone pink. I need to find another place to swatch. So this is Preciosa Pink, a really nice cool tone pink. This is a very pigmented blush formula, very kind of like blurring, blendable. It doesn't have a lot of glow to it, but it does have some life to it. This is a really nice kind of like rosy nudie shade, which is Rose Reina. And then we also have this kind of like darker rose, which is Bloom Bella. I have to be honest, I haven't used these in a bit. This is definitely the warmest tone. Haven't used these in a bit, but I am gonna keep it because I do really enjoy this formula. I have some blushes from Sigma that they did send me in PR when they sent me like a big PR package of trying to try their brand. And this is the cream blush in Pashmina, which is a warm pink. I quite liked the cream blush formula actually, it was quite nice. And then I have the blush in Sunset Kiss, so this is the powder blush. The powder blush wasn't my favorite, but I think I'm gonna keep these for now. It's a little bit of a newer product in my collection, and Sigma is a newer brand to me that I haven't tried a lot from, and it's, I think, nice to have some for reference and to kind of like see if I will get into this. Then I have some liquid blushes from Glam Shop. So these are the Pearly Liquid Blush. These are so glowy. These are so extremely glowy. So this is the one in Guma Balanoa, and this is the more pink shade. These are pearly. Like, they are not joking. These are so pearly on the cheeks. That is definitely a blush topper for me. Like, these on their own are a little bit much, but these mixed with something can be really nice. And then we also have this kind of like purpley pink one, which is Marlie Rose. And you know, I do love shades like these. I am gonna keep these because I do think there's something about them, but these are so extremely metallic. Like, I definitely have to mix this in with something, but then it's really, really cute, really nice. I just sometimes have to remind myself that I can layer products and use different things in different ways. Then I have this little cheek duo, which is from Sheen Effect. I got this in PR from CBeautyMall, and this is a really, really, really light pink blush, and then a very shimmery multi-chrome highlighter. The multi-chrome highlighter in this is actually very interesting. Like, it's a very lime to gold with kind of like a bluish, grayish, pinkish base. Like, it's very glowy. And then we have this very soft, very light, so light that it's almost like white-ish blush. I don't think I can find a way to use this. Like, this is not my type of product. Like, I love a blush that is deeper. I don't like a blush to be brightening. I just like it to be like mimicking a flush, and this is just not my type of highlighter or even my type of eyeshadow. Like, there's not a point of me putting this in with my eyeshadows as well, because I just don't like this type of shift. So I'm gonna declutter this one. And I have this blush from SheGlam, and I am not buying from SheGlam anymore, but I still have a few products of them in my collection. This is the High and Dry Lightweight Matte Blush, and I do think this is a really nice blurring blush. So I actually want to keep this. It's kind of like this peachy pink. I haven't used it in a bit. If I haven't used it once again in my next declutter, I will get rid of this, but I will keep it for one more round. And then we have the Cosmic Beauty blush, the cream blush in Mary, and I didn't really love this formula. I didn't feel like it looked super smooth on my skin. Like, the color of it I really like. Like, the color of this is a very nice kind of like muted strawberry pink, but I didn't really love the look of this on the cheeks. And I think I'm gonna let go of this one because I need space. It's time to create some space, and I think I've been doing a pretty good job. Like, the pile of decluttered makeup is growing and growing. So this is the RMS Beauty Redimension Hydra Powder Blush in French Rosé. And this is a light pink Beaujolais blush, which for some reason I haven't really gotten into, but at the same time I do like it whenever I wear it. I don't know, there's something about it. I am going to be keeping that one because I do really love a Beaujolais formula. Then I have two of the Rare Beauty powder blushes, the powder glowy blushes. So we have the shade Happy. I love this one so much. I really think it suits me so well. I think it's a beautiful color of pinky glowiness. And then we have the shade Cheer, which is a lighter pinky peach. This one is more of a blush lighter for me. I wouldn't really wear that on its own. I feel like it's a little bit too metallic, but the shade Happy I really like. I'm gonna be keeping both of these. Then I have here the Glowgasm Beauty Light Wand in the shade Pinkgasm by Charlotte Tilbury. We all know and love this product. Well, I don't know if you all love it, but we all know this product. This is a really warm pink metallic blush, and I'm gonna be keeping it. I don't use it a bunch because I have a few other favorites, especially from Kiko Milano, that I really do love, but I also just want to keep that for reference, and I do enjoy it. I do like it. And then I have this liquid blush from Gloss Gods in the shade Lover, and this is actually quite a nice formula. It is just a nice kind of like neutral peachy pink shade, creamy, blendable, quite like it. And then I have 4 blushes from the Close Up Matte Blurring Blush line from Nabla, and I did do a video about these. I did do cheek swatches of these, and we have the shade Endorphin, which is a muted red, so quite a nice shade actually. I do like that. And then we have shade Lucky Rose, which is a more neutral rose shade, a little bit more on the pinky side. And then we have a Cool Tone Pink, which is the shade Petite, which is this baby pink. It's not too purpley actually. I do really like this shade of baby pink. And then we have the shade Enigma, which is this kind of like browny rose shade. I feel like a lot of rose shades are very brown actually. This is quite an interesting color. I think I'm gonna get rid of this brownie shade, so the shade Enigma. I think I can let go of that one and give it to someone who will enjoy that more. And I'm gonna keep the 3 shades, the 3 other shades. Then I have a few blushes left from Clinique. I used to have more, but I did declutter a few of them. I have 2 of the glowy range and then 1 of the like regular range. So this shade is Melon Pop, and this is kind of like that peachy pink color. This is a Beaujolais formula. I do really like this color. I'm gonna keep that one. This one I'm kind of thinking, should I still keep this? So this is the shade Coral Pop from the Cheek Pop Pearl line. I don't understand why this was a limited edition. This definitely should have been permanent. Like, this is such a good formula, and I think even now this would actually sell really well, especially in the times that we're living in. Every brand is launching 5 different blush formulas. So that is the coral shade. Really beautiful actually. I thought, okay, maybe I don't need to keep that one because it's so warm tone, but it's actually a really nice one. And then we also have Ruby Pop, which is just another strawberry pinky red. I love it so much. I feel like also this suits me so well. Okay, I'm gonna keep all of these. I want to keep them. Oh wait, I totally forgot this Kiko Milano Bridgerton blush duo. So this is the Bridgerton Bouquet blush and highlighter duo, and this actually has quite a nice like a rosy strawberry pink powdery, kind of like powdery blush. And then we have a quite nice like champagne highlighter. This is quite a nice duo. I'm gonna keep that. I also quite enjoyed the Bridgerton collection. Then I have here one of my favorite blushes in my collection that I definitely wish was permanent, but this was part of a limited edition by MAC. This is the blush, the Extra Dimension blush in Room to Bloom, and this is just the perfect glowy natural blush. It's kind of like that strawberry pink but a little bit lighter, and this is just so beautiful. It's gorgeous. I love it so much. If this ever came back, I would say you might want to pick that up. I never tell you that you need something. I never tell you to run. I do not like that kind of language, but this, so nice. It's so nice. If they ever bring it back, and sometimes MAC does that, it's so good. And then we have these 2 blushes from Iconic London. These are very glowy blushes. I have here the shade Kissed by the Sun. By the way, this is the multi-use cheek glow. This is Kissed by the Sun, which is a cool toned, like purpley pink with a golden glow to it. Absolutely beautiful, very metallic. Like, you definitely don't need a highlighter with that. I'm gonna be keeping that one. And then I also have the one in Kissed by the Wait, that wasn't the name. Okay, this one is Playtime, and this is So Cheeky, and this one is kind of like a brown shade, a brownish gold. It's very warm toned. I think I can get rid of this one. I kept it because I thought, well, I might find a way to use that, but I think, or am I gonna use it? I don't know. Like, it could work still as kind of like a bronzer or topper. And that's how I convinced myself. Okay, I'm gonna keep this for now. I want to keep that for a little bit longer. And then I have this cheek duo, the Pink Pleasure and Dusty Pink cheek duo by W7. And this is actually quite a nice cream cheek duo. We have this kind of like strawberry pink once again, and then we have this muted rose. This actually blends quite nice. Looks quite good on the cheeks, so I'm definitely gonna keep that one. It's also newer in my collection. All right, it's time to organize. Alright, so this is what I'm keeping. It's a lot. I kind of feel like, did it fit better at first? Like, am I really noticing anything being gone? I will definitely organize this a little bit more off camera. Let me count how many blushes I'm keeping. Alright, so these are like 82 blushes. I don't think that was a very exact count. I feel like I might have missed some things, but that is what we're working with right now. And I also still have a few that I have to show you that I'm still reviewing. These flower nose ones are gonna be in a separate drawer, and then I'm gonna organize this in my blush, highlighter, bronzer drawer a little bit more. And then let's go over everything I've decluttered. Alright, so these are 22 blushes I've decluttered. I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing here. I think these are definitely things that I wouldn't reach for again. So yeah, this is everything that will no longer be in my collection. Okay, so these are some things that I am ready to review that are gonna be in the new makeup updates very soon. And then I also have a basket of some things that I'm still testing out. And then I also have a basket of some things that I haven't touched yet, and those I'm not gonna swatch because I also have to do some close-ups and swatches still of that. So this is the Feel the Vibe face palette from the Wycon Spring collection, from the Vichy Garden collection. This is a very nice formula, kind of like creamy. It's not a cream formula, but a really creamy powder formula, kind of like putty almost, a little bit between a cream and a powder. Really beautiful. I really enjoy this. Then I have some glowy heart blushes from the Glam Shop Valentine's Day collection. These are in Uni Rose and in Bloody Rose, and these are just very nice and smooth glowy blushes. I think these are really beautiful. If I can open them, that would be nice. So this one is a little bit more of a nude blush almost, but I did feel like it suited me really well because it still has quite a pinky undertone to it, and I really enjoyed that. And then this one was a little bit more like a strawberry pink, a little bit more bright, but both of these really beautiful, really smooth, not too metallic, not too glittery, just a nice soft glow. Then I have here the Huda Beauty blush filter in the shade Bubblegum, and this was from their new range that was a little bit more glowy, or was supposed to be a little bit more glowy. This is a little bit more of a brighter, almost darker pink than the Cotton Candy one that I just showed you. I don't really see a lot of shimmer in here, but it's a really beautiful color, and I do really like this formula, as I told you. And then we have the Cheeked Up Cushion Tip Applicator blush by Beauty Creations in the shade Pinky Promise. I really love this milky pink. I really love the creamy look of this on the cheeks. It doesn't have any shimmer to it. It's just really nice and creamy and has a healthy kind of glow to it. And I have here the Kiko Milano Golden Oasis Glow Cushion Blush, and this is in shade 02, which is a nice kind of like rosy pink shade, very similar to the shade from Charlotte Tilbury, the one in Pink Gasm, I think. Should I compare them? Do you want to see a comparison of these? So this is the Pink Gasm. That one is a little lighter actually. They are not exactly the same, but there's a vibe there. You could get a similar type of look. And then I have here the W7 Blushful Cream Tip Powder Blusher. This is in a kind of like muted pink shade, or, well, it actually swatches quite bright. Let me retract that statement. It's kind of like a brighter pink. Quite a nice cream blush. Nothing bad to say about it, but also it's not super special. It's not gonna be a new favorite, but it's also not a bad product. Then I have here the L'Oreal Lumi Liquid Blush in 2 different shades. This is a shade Glowy Worth It Medium, and this is kind of like a warmer reddish rosy color that is a little darker. I do actually really like that color, but it's a little deep for me, but it's really nice and glowy. I do really like the shade of that. These have a nice amount of pigmentation, but this is just a little bit too deep of a color for me. And then we have Glowy True Rose, which is a very warm toned rose. Really pretty, but a very warm tone for me. But these are nice. These are nice. These are nice and glowy, look smooth, not glittery. Then I have it the Let's Do Makeup and Beauty Creations Making Me Blush Liquid Blush, and this was from their Volume 2 collection. This was in a blush and highlighter duo. I tried this and had to conclude that this was too like dark and pigmented to me. Like, this color doesn't actually look too dark for me because I do have colors like this that I do really enjoy, but it's just a little bit too pigmented. I could definitely make it work mixing it in with something, but just this on its own is too dark for me. So it's not really a new favorite for me, but I do really like the other shades that they have in their regular range. Then this formula by Makeup Revolution, the Beam Bright Blush. I have really applied both of these multiple times, multiple ways to kind of come to understand this formula. And do I truly understand it? In a way yes, in a way no. So we have here the shade Pink Party, and every time I apply this, it sinks into my pores. It sinks into my pores on my cheeks in such a weird way. It looks so uneven and strange, and I just can't get this to work on me. While it looks like a beautiful color and it swatches beautifully, I cannot get that to work on me. And then when I apply this one, so this is the shade Lick of Lilac. Whenever I apply this one, I don't have any issue with that. It swatches, it applies smoothly, it looks really good. It's a very interesting purple color because it's quite cool tone, but I feel like it looks so fresh on my face. It really works for me. This one is great. So far that I've tried this, I haven't had any issues with this. I even applied this on top of this one and kind of like fixed the situation with that. But this one, the pink one, can't get that to work on me. Like, it looks so weird. And then I have some products from Wycon. This is the Wycon Partner in Time blush in Real Pink, and this is a matte blurring kind of like muted purpley pink blush. Quite a beautiful shade. I do like that one. It's not super special, it's not gonna be a new favorite, but there's definitely nothing wrong with this formula. This one I do really like. This is the Mineral Blush Baked Blush in 04, and this has a little bit of a glitter in it or shimmer in it, but the way this looks on the skin is really like running through it. It's really like encapsulated in the formula in a really beautiful way, and it just makes your skin, it just makes your blush look very glossy and glowy and alive and beautiful. And I do really like that, and do really like the color of this one as well. Really like that muted rose, but not too warm. And then I have here the Silky Touch Powder Duo Blush by Kiko Milano from their Kind by Kiko line. And this is a pretty cute blush. It looks quite good on the cheeks. I think this is better than the bronzer. It's kind of like this cool tone pink, muted pink. It's quite nice. It has a little bit of a satiness to it, but it's nothing where I'm like, okay, this is the new thing. This is the new amazing thing from Kiko Milano. Go run out and buy this. I don't think that about it. And then I also found this one, by the way. This was also part of that group of products. This is the Plush Blush by Kiko Milano in 03. This is the regular range Poof Style Applicator Blush that they have now from Kiko Milano. So it's not only possible now to buy these from the limited edition, which used to be the case. This is a really nice cool tone light pink. Really love it. It's pretty fragrant though, so keep that in mind. But this is, I think, one of my favorite colors that Kiko Milano has now, and it's in the regular range, which is great. I love it. Okay, the things that I have tried but I haven't been able to fully make up my mind yet are in this box. I have here the Catrice Cheek Awakener, and this is from the Spring Awakening collection, and this is a like pH reacting blush stick. It actually looks pretty cute. It does have quite a nice shimmer in it. It smells like mango. There's something to it. I can totally imagine people liking this. I don't really love personally that stain look on the cheeks, but it is kind of cute. Like, there's something. Why is this camera not focusing? Okay, we're back. So this has a little bit of a shimmer to it. It has a pH reacting property to it, which makes it a bright pink. It has a little bit of a staining effect, which isn't my favorite. I like my blushes to have a little bit of coverage, a little bit of like smoothing ability to it. But this is like, well, it's kind of cute. It's kind of cute, but it's not going to be my personal favorite. Then we have these new blush duos from the Catrice Wonder Woman collection. We have this shade, which is Champion for All, and I just think that these are a little bit more lightly pigmented than we have seen in the other blushes. Like, these are lighter shades. They are also a little bit more lightly pigmented. You have to build them up a little bit more. This is really like the light pink. Has a little bit of a white base. And then we also have Powerful Together, which is more of a rosy brown. To me, this is more like a bronzer. I wouldn't really use this as a blush. These are pretty cute, but I do feel like I like the one that I just showed you. That was the peach shade from the regular range. I think I like that one the most. Then I have here the Beauty Creations Coquette Pink Cheek Stick Blush, and this one is quite white based. I tried this in a video and this is just too light for me to really be a blush. It's just not amazing in color for me. I like the formula, but the color is just a little bit too light. I just want it to be a little bit less like super white based. Then we have the Essence So Cherry Happy Blush Lighter, and this one is in Love You Cherry Much. I tried this in a video, thought that maybe the fact that this was a little bit like powdery and a little bit hard to blend was due to the red shimmer that we have as kind of like an overspray that creates those little like cherries. I thought that I could still make this blush work, but I took this with me on a weekend away and this was the only blush I had, and I did have regrets because it looked very patchy. It didn't look very good. It just isn't a smooth blush. It doesn't have any glow to it. I don't understand the name blush lighter for it. I think this is not good. This actually I have made up my mind on, but I just didn't want to put it in my next new makeup updates because I do have one or two more things from the collection to try. Then I have here the Kiko Milano So Chic Trio Blush, and this was in the shade 04, and this is the kind of like muted red shade in the range. This is once again from the regular range, so this is not limited edition. A really beautiful muted red, a really beautiful formula. It is kind of the same as the Silky 3-in-1 All Over, I think, from the Days in Bloom collection. It's blendable, it's buildable, it has a nice like natural kind of sheen to it, but it's not glittery, it's not shimmery, it's not metallic. I do think it's really pretty. I was gonna say I'm gonna keep that, but I'm gonna review that. And then I have some blushes, some liquid blushes from Glaminatrix that I bought. And I bought two pinky shades and then a red shade. This red shade is called Sweet, and this is just a really nice kind of like brighter red that I want to use more as a natural flush. I still have to put this one on my cheeks, but the other two, the formula of those I have really liked. This is definitely a little bit of a brighter red for me, but I think blended out on the cheeks this is going to be very nice and natural. I also have the shade Tender, which is this cool tone pink. These two pinks I have used and I have really enjoyed. This is just a really nice formula that is easy to blend, buildable, and it just has that natural glow to it without being sticky or too thick. And this was shade Soft. So that is a little bit more of a neutral pink. It has something a little bit more peachy to it. And then I have the two cream blushes, the Mousse blushes I think these are called, from the Desert Dune collection by Catrice. And I have already used this one again. This is the like kind of like rose shade. This one turns a little bit more pink on the cheeks. It has a little bit of a golden shimmer through it, but I don't feel like it's too metallic. It actually looks very nice and natural. And then we have the shade Burnt Sienna, which actually turns out to be quite a like cool toned, darker berry shade. I could actually make this work, and I could also blend these two together, so it wasn't too dark for my skin tone, but it's definitely like, this is a very pigmented shade, but I did use a little bit more of a fluffy brush and I could use it like that, and that did work. Then I have this e.l.f. Camel Liquid Blush, and this was in the lilac shade, so bold faced lilac. I definitely have to use it again. Sometimes I use something a couple of times and then I kind of like forget what I thought about it, so then I have to use it again before I can put this in the new makeup updates. This is a nice shade. I just have to give it one more go to remind myself what was going on. And then I have this cheek duo from the Kiko Milano and Emma Roberts collection, and this was in the shade Cherry on Top. I do really like this formula. We have a pink shade in here, beautiful pink color, and then a berry shade. Both of these are really nice on the cheeks. I do, if I use the berry shade, mix in a little bit of the pink because it's just a little bit too dark and pigmented for me. I still have to use this one on the lips because I feel like this was, yeah, for lips and cheeks. So before I review this, I have to use this once again on the cheeks. On the lips, I did try that in my video, but I really want to like wear that on my lips for a little bit. Really beautiful colors, really nice and kind of like blurring matte formula. It does have kind of like a natural sheen to it, but it's not a glowy blush formula at all. It's a little bit of a thicker, more stiff formula almost. And then we have the cheek products from the Kiko Milano Juicy Taste collection. I just did a video on these, so you might want to watch that if you're interested in these. So this is the Cheeks on the Beach shade from the Cheeks You Up blush, from the Cheeks You Up blushes. And this one is a very bright pink shade. It's a little bit of a thinner cream formula, but it looks really good on the cheeks. Then we have the shade Move Your Passion, which is a new shade. This wasn't in last year's collection. Very cool tone pink with more of a almost satiny sheen. Does have quite a sheen to it, but these two are a little bit more glowy. We have shade 02 Rose Riviera, which is the same as a shade from last year that I just showed you, which was the coral pink. So this is kind of like a neutral pink to a gold like shift. And then we have the shade Golden Mocha, which is a warm brownish shade, which has a little bit of a rosiness to it. It's actually is really beautiful. It's kind of like a bronzer type of shade. It's kind of like a bronzer topper almost. I think if you love nude blushes, this could be a really nice glowy nude blush. These are all really beautiful, but I'm still testing them out, so not ready to review those yet. I just filmed my video like a couple of days ago. And then we have the products that I haven't touched yet. And I haven't allowed myself to touch these yet because these are not things. Well, this one is newer. I might actually film with that pretty soon. But these other things I haven't really allowed myself to touch yet because I was just overwhelmed with a lot of products that I still had to get my final thoughts on. I wanted to get my new makeup updates out there. I'm going to be filming that this week and hopefully getting that up this week, the same week as you're seeing this blush Declutter. But these are some things I haven't touched yet. So I have a liquid blush, the Flush Blush liquid blush from Wycon in the shade 02. I'm still gonna like film my close-ups with these products, so I'm not gonna actually swatch them and open them. This is the Brave Cheeks liquid blush from Wycon in the shade Delicate Pink. I have the Morphe Cheek Trills shade in Blind Date. I did recently pick that up. And then we have the Dare Me Lip and Cheek Balm from Beauty Creations in this light pinky purpley shade. You can see I have not touched that. And then we have the Beauty Creations Cheeked Up liquid blush in Rosy Reset, and this is a little bit of a darker pink than the shade that I already own. And then I did end up buying one of these blushes from Made by Mitchell, like in the little blush pots that are the blurring blushes, and I got it in the shade Strawberry Cream. So this is the Smoothie Stain Lip and Cheek Stain, and I thought, okay, I'm already late with doing the review on that. I would just wait with that because if I add in more products that I have done like my first impression on, I overwhelm myself even more. So I was trying to be a little bit like smart with that, have a system, and I think it worked for me. So this is gonna be everything for my blush collection and Declutter. I think it was good to go through everything, see everything together. Also keep in mind what I already have before I buy new things, so I can be a little bit more mindful. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.